In the 10th year of being sworn enemies with Shen Yu, I fell secretly in love with him, and through a marriage alliance between our families I married him, thinking that as long as I kept the man by my side I could eventually warm his heart. But after a car accident, I cried and begged him to save me, and he found me annoying. I came home battered and bruised, and he did not even remember that I had called him. 4 years of marriage were nothing but a one-woman show. His heart was forever reserved for his white moonlight. Divorce. He was the first to lose his temper and sign the papers, then turned around and tore up the receipt and clung to me relentlessly. Just when I was completely fed up, that junior who had always been at odds with me, suddenly blushed and said he wanted to go abroad with me. The thought of divorcing Shen Yu was truly born in just that single moment. I was still holding my phone to my ear, only the call on the other end had already been cut off. It was the first time I had ever been in a car accident, and it was a serious one. I was terrified, so the moment I got out of the car, my mind went completely blank. The first thing I thought of was calling Shen Yu, but when I cried into the phone and said, "Yu, I had a car accident, what should I do?" I thought he would comfort me, but instead he said irritably, "If you crashed then call the insurance company. Why are you calling me? Yunsong, can you stop creating trouble for me all the time? I am really annoyed." With just those 2 short sentences, he hung up. I stood there holding my phone, as if a bucket of icy water had been poured over me, from head to toe, bone-chilling cold. "Hey, are you done with your call? How are you going to deal with this? I am telling you, this is definitely your full responsibility. Who told you to turn so sharply? You women drivers are just born road killers. If you cannot drive then do not drive at all." The man's incessant nagging reached my ears. I slowly lowered my phone, letting the tears pool in my eyes. "Hey, do not cry. I did not make you cry. Do not pin this on me. I did not want to cry." But the tears simply would not stop. They fell like beads snapping off a broken string. In that moment I thought, "Yunsong, you are so stupid. Why did you turn the steering wheel to the right just now? And why were you so pathetic to call Shen Yu for help? Without him would you really die?" A car sped past, and the man cursed under his breath again. "Hurry and move to the side. Call the police first." In that instant, I suddenly had the answer. Without Shen Yu I would not die, but if I kept standing here crying, I might actually die. While the man continued to scold me, he taught me how to call the insurance company. After the traffic police arrived, they confirmed that it was indeed entirely my fault. His car was a small cargo truck, and did not look badly damaged. My BMW, however, had severe damage to the entire front. Later both of our cars were towed to the dealership. I then went to the traffic police station to handle the accident paperwork. It took an entire day to finally resolve everything. The man complained a lot, but overall he was still patient. Before leaving, I separately gave him 2,000 yuan for lost wages. He was a freight driver, supporting a whole family through hauling goods. The insurance company's compensation was clearly not enough. After everything was settled, I did not go home immediately, but on a whim, went to the riverside, found a spot, and sat there letting the wind blow. By the time I pushed open the door at home, it was already close to 9 in the evening. The sound of typing came from the living room. Shen Yu was sitting on the sofa, working on his laptop. Hearing the noise, he did not even look up. "Why are you back so late?" I wanted to respond, but my throat felt tight. I had barely drunk any water while dealing with the accident, and only now realized how dry my throat was. Seeing that I did not speak, Shen Yu became displeased. "Yunsong, did you forget that we were supposed to visit my parents today? I waited for you all afternoon, messaged you and you did not reply. What exactly is going on?" I froze, only then remembering our plan to visit his parents. He had even reminded me before leaving in the morning. "Sorry, I was busy handling the accident, and forgot to reply." "What accident?" Shen Yu frowned, looking at me in confusion. Looking at his blank expression, my heart was once again tightly clenched by an invisible hand. I opened my mouth. "This morning, I called you. I was in a car accident." His expression froze for a moment. His eyes flickered, as if trying hard to recall. Then he let out an ah, his tone turning a little awkward. "I was in a meeting then. I did not hear clearly what you said." I stood there, feeling as if my legs had been filled with lead. So he had never taken that call to heart. He did not even remember my panic and helplessness. How did it get handled? He stood up, his tone softening. "You are not hurt, right?" "I am fine." I avoided the hand he reached out, and bent down to grab the water cup on the coffee table. "The front of the car was hit pretty badly. It has already been sent to the dealership." Shen Yu withdrew his hand, and frowned again. "How were you driving? So careless." The cup wobbled in my hand, and a few drops of water splashed onto the table. I slowly straightened up. looking at the person I had liked for so many years, and suddenly felt an inner wasteland. Yes. How was I so careless? I heard my own voice, light as a feather, but I did not do it on purpose. Shen Yu's expression shifted. I was not blaming you. I am tired. I cut him off, placed the cup back on the table. I am going back to the room. As I turned and went upstairs, I heard him say behind me, tomorrow I will go with you to the dealership. I did not turn back, only shook my head. No need. I can handle it myself. After closing the bedroom door, I leaned against it, feeling all the strength drain from my body. Pain pulsed through my right arm. In fact, I was not completely uninjured. During the accident, the airbags had deployed. My right arm was strained. My knee had been hit. My chest must have slammed into something. It felt tight and sore. Now I wanted to shower, but even taking off my clothes was difficult. The bruises on my knee looked especially glaring under the light. I clenched my teeth and slowly moved into the bathroom. When the hot water rushed over the injuries, the pain made me suck in a sharp breath. The water poured down loudly. Steam quickly fogged up the mirror and blurred my tear-streaked face. Bitterness filled my mouth, as if I had swallowed bitter herbs. I suddenly felt so useless, unable to adjust my emotions. After just a little setback, after showering, I sat on the bed, searching for the medicine kit. Just as I squeezed ointment onto my hand, the bedroom door was suddenly pushed open. Shen Yu's gaze landed on my knee. How is it hurt this badly? He walked over quickly, reaching for the ointment in my hand. I instinctively leaned back. No need. Why are you dodging? He frowned, and directly grabbed my calf. In that instant, every hair on my body stood on end. Almost as a reflex, I slapped his hand away. The sharp sound echoed in the quiet bedroom. The back of Shen Yu's hand immediately turned red. He stared at me in shock, his expression gradually turning irritable. What are you doing? Do you hate me that much, that you will not even let me touch you? I did not speak, but Shen Yu suddenly got angry. He shot to his feet and scolded me harshly. Yunsong, what kind of crazy are you acting out? I just did not handle the accident for you. Do you really need to look this upset? You were the one who drove carelessly. So stupid that you got into an accident. Now I am kindly showing concern, and you are being this ungrateful. A buzzing sound filled my head. Maybe I was too tired, or maybe the injuries hurt too much. My chest felt too tight. I suddenly had no strength left to argue with him. I looked up at him and said calmly, yes, I am stupid. I am ungrateful. You are right about everything. Shen Yu looked stunned, as if my sudden submission left him at a loss. I continued applying the ointment. He stood there without moving. After a long while, I heard him take a deep breath. Then the mattress sank, as he sat down beside me. Yunsong. His voice was very soft. Let us talk. I hummed. If you have something to say, then say it. The ointment melted in my palm. The sticky sensation reminded me of my fingers covered in engine oil while handling the accident earlier. About this morning, it really was my fault. He suddenly apologized. I was arguing with the board, and my mood was bad, so I took it out on you. I stopped moving, watching the ointment spread across my skin. After nearly 4 years of marriage, this was the first time I had ever heard Shen Yu admit fault. I know. It is fine. I calmly screwed the cap back on. I am tired. I want to sleep early. His lips moved, as if he wanted to say something else, but in the end, he only nodded. All right, get some rest. I let out a breath of relief. In the past, I would definitely have snapped back at him, arguing until the middle of the night. But today, I was truly scared. Scared he would say more meaningless things. Too tired. Truly too tired. I lay down with my back to him, deliberately keeping my distance. But just as I was about to fall asleep, a warm body suddenly pressed against me. Shen Yu's arm wrapped around my waist, pulling my entire back into his chest. His nose rested against the back of my neck, his breath scorching. My whole body stiffened. After 4 years of marriage, this was the first time he ever held me so willingly. It was always me clinging shamelessly to him, and he would only pat my back perfunctorily, before turning over to sleep. Sensing my attempt to struggle, he tightened his arms. Do not move. Let me hold you for a bit. His voice was muffled, with a softness I had never heard before, but all I felt was a sour ache in my chest. It hurts. You are pressing on my injury. Shen Yu loosened his grip. In the darkness, I heard him let out a heavy sigh. Then he lifted the blanket and got out of bed. I am going to take a shower. Go to sleep. His voice returned to its usual coldness. The sound of water soon filled the bathroom. Staring at the ceiling, I realized in surprise that I had actually relaxed. That night, Shen Yu slept in the guest room he often used. I did not question him like I usually did. Before, when Shen Yu was not beside me, I would feel anxious. But unexpectedly, tonight without Shen Yu, I slept exceptionally well. Early the next morning, when I woke up, Shen Yu had already gone to work. Rarely, he had prepared breakfast for me. He even sent me a message on WeChat, saying that after he finished work in the morning, he would accompany me to the dealership in the afternoon. I did not know what he wanted to do at the dealership. The car had already been handed over to the insurance company. Once it was repaired, they would contact me to pick it up. I replied that there was no need, then went to the law firm. Yesterday, I sat by the river for 2 full hours. I had thought it through clearly. I was determined to divorce Shen Yu. Around 11, my phone kept vibrating in my bag. The screen showed a familiar number. I silenced it, and continued confirming the details of the divorce agreement with the lawyer. It was not until 12 that I finally answered his 7th call. "What are you busy with? Why are you not answering the phone?" I asked calmly. "Is there something you need?" The other end was silent for a few seconds. "Tonight, I made a reservation at La Cille. Let us have dinner together." I looked at the divorce agreement in my hand, and answered yes. La Cille was the hardest restaurant in the city to book, yet Shen Yu had secured a private room with an excellent location. When I arrived, he was already there. The restaurant was filled with large bouquets of flowers and gifts. Only then did I realize, today was Shishi Festival. After entering the private room, Shen Yu was unboxing a small cake, the exact kind I liked most. Beside it, sat an exquisite gift box. "You are here. Sit down quickly. The food will be served soon." He looked very gentlemanly, very gentle. Candlelight flickered against the glassware, softening his features. "Your favorite red wine." He poured me half a glass, his movements elegant and proper. I looked out the window, at a young couple kissing by the fountain. The girl held roses, her smile bright and radiant. After whispering something, they leaned in and shared a brief kiss. The girl laughed, and I laughed along with her. "What are you laughing at?" Shen Yu followed my gaze, and smiled. "What? Are you jealous of young couples now?" I nodded, and said seriously, "Yes, I really envy them." He scoffed. "What is there to envy? When people are dating, is it not always like that?" I shook my head. "I have never dated, so I envy it." I was telling the truth. I truly did envy them. Shen Yu was my first love, my first marriage. All of my firsts were with him, but I was not his first. He has a first love. His first love is our shared high school classmate, and the class beauty, Su Chi. They got together in their senior year of high school. After dating for more than 3 years, they broke up because of incompatible personalities. The breakup was ugly. But when they were together, he did everything sweet for her. I looked at his handsome brows and eyes in the candlelight, and suddenly remembered a scene from high school. I once saw him kissing Zhu Qi behind the teaching building. Snowflakes fell into their tangled hair, beautiful like a painting. Back then, Shen Yu would run all over half the city just to buy her breakfast. He would clumsily boil brown sugar water for her during her period. He would even post those syrupy love words on social media that now feel unbearably cheesy. But for me, he never did any of that. The young couple downstairs walked away hand in hand. The server brought in the dishes we had ordered. Shen Yu said awkwardly, "Stop staring. I bought the cake you like and ordered your favorite dishes. Try some." I turned back. "No need. I don't feel like eating." I took a folder from my bag and gently pushed it in front of him. "Shen Yu, let's get a divorce." He froze. "What do you mean by that?" His brows knitted tighter and tighter, his gaze shifting from confusion to anger. "Yunsong, are you joking with me?" I shook my head and slid the pen over as well. "I've already signed it." His eyes locked onto my signature on the agreement, his expression darkening. "Just because of that little mess yesterday, you want a divorce?" "Yunsong, are you really that dramatic?" I met his gaze. "Call it dramatic or unreasonable if you want. I just want a divorce." "Yunsong." Shen Yu suddenly raised his voice. "I already apologized for yesterday. Do you really have to keep harping on it?" I shook my head. "Even without what happened yesterday, I think we were always headed for divorce. After all, there's no love between us, is there?" He laughed in anger and sneered. "Love or no love, didn't you agree to marry me in the first place? It's not like I forced you to marry me." That sentence felt like it pierced straight through my heart. Cold air rushed in through the hole. Yes. He didn't beg me to marry him. We never dated before we got married. It was always me secretly loving him. Our families were business partners. Shen Yu and I grew up together. Before high school, we couldn't stand each other and somehow became sworn enemies. But after high school, with a girl's first stirrings of affection, I fell for the boy who shone wherever he stood. Yet he never felt anything for me. After we graduated college, the Shen family's business declined. His parents wanted a marriage alliance with my family for more stable cooperation. When my parents asked for my opinion, I agreed without hesitation. Back then, I didn't realize, a marriage without love is like a boat without an owner. It can capsize at any moment in the flood of time. Seeing my body suddenly trembling as tears fell, Shen Yu realized he'd said the wrong thing. He scratched the bridge of his nose. I didn't mean it that way, don't take it to heart. I shook my head. No, you're right. You never wanted to marry me in the first place. This was just a business marriage. Now I don't want to continue it anymore. So, can you sign it? I pushed the divorce agreement toward him again. His expression twisted. Yunsong, are you serious? I nodded. Yes, I'm serious. His chest heaved violently. He grabbed the agreement, the pages rustling loudly in his hand. Fine, divorce it is. You think I care about living with you? He almost roared the words. The next second, he picked up the pen and signed his name hard. Then he slammed the pen on the table and stormed out. I slowly put the agreement away. As he pulled open the door, I said, "Tomorrow's Friday, clear your schedule, let's go to the civil affairs office." Fine, the sooner the better. Then he slammed the door shut. I was grateful for Shen Yu's decisiveness. It made the divorce registration go smoothly. That night, after I got home, he went to sleep in the guest room. The next morning, when I came downstairs, he was already in a suit, sitting on the sofa. Weren't we going to the civil affairs office? Let's go. I glanced at the clock on the wall. 7:15. I muttered. Isn't that a bit early? He gave a scornful laugh. I knew it, you're backing out. I didn't hear him clearly and just waved at him. Give me 20 minutes, I'll be ready. When I turned around, I didn't see his face darken. At 7:35, I got into Shen Yu's car on time. He pressed his lips together, silent the whole way. Traffic was light before 8. But he drove at a crawl. At 8:20, we arrived at the government service center. He checked the time and asked if I wanted breakfast. I nodded. There's a bun shop nearby, let's go there. But he said, how can breakfast be half-assed? I know a place with good breakfast. I'll take you. I shook my head. Forget it, it's almost 9. Going back and forth is too much trouble. I don't know what I said that set him off again. He snapped. Fine, you go eat, I'm not eating. I glanced at him. All right then, I'll go eat. I opened the door and walked away. At 9, I got the first number. Shen Yu stayed silent the entire time, his face cold as we completed the registration. When he learned there was a 30-day cooling-off period for divorce, he even thanked the staff. After we got back, I started packing my things. Shen Yu sat on the living room sofa, a cigarette between his fingers. Smoke curled around him, his expression unreadable. After a while, he came upstairs and said, we should inform both sets of parents about this. I'll do it. Since I chose the divorce, I'll make the calls. I called my parents first. They were shocked at first. After hearing me out, they agreed to the divorce. As for Shen Yu's parents, they kept trying to persuade me. I responded firmly. Later, I heard them call Shen Yu. He seemed resentful toward me and raised his voice. He said, stop persuading her. If she wants a divorce, let her. It's not like I can't live without her. I ignored it and kept packing, putting my belongings into the suitcase one by one. An hour later, when I came downstairs, Shen Yu was still on the sofa smoking. Seeing me with my suitcase, he asked, do you need help? I shook my head. No, I've already called a moving company. All right. He stood up and left. After returning to my own place, I took a hot bath. The warm water made me want to cry, but not a single tear fell. When I checked my phone, I found that Shen Yu had actually posted on social media. It said, a toast to freedom. The photo was taken in a bar. I turned off my phone and sincerely wished myself a rebirth. After I moved out, I never contacted Shen Yu again. Between us, reality was completely severed. Instead, my parents, my brother, and his parents kept calling, urging me to reconsider. I refused them all clearly. Eventually, the calls stopped. But a few days later, during a meeting, company leadership suddenly announced that Langtu, Shen Yu's company, had submitted a new product proposal and specifically requested that I be in charge. My father's business has always been managed by my brother. I studied design in college, and after graduating, my father arranged for me to work in a large company owned by one of his friends as a planning designer. Before I joined, our company often collaborated with Shen Yu's. But after I came on board, Shen Yu avoided suspicion and rarely let me handle his company's projects. This sudden request was very abnormal. Honestly, it wasn't that he wanted to avoid entanglement anymore. I was the one who didn't want any connection with him at all. But before I could even refuse, someone else exploded first. Another director from planning department too suddenly stood up. This project has been followed up by our department for 2 months already. The proposal is halfway done. Why should it suddenly be handed to Department 1? Ji Lin. A junior 1 year younger than me. Highly capable, yet always biased against me. In his eyes, I only got where I am through connections. The leader frowned. This was decided after comprehensive consideration. Any problem? Comprehensive consideration? Ji Lin sneered, his gaze brushing past me. Is that considering ability, or something else? My hand paused on the pen as I looked up at him. Director Ji, if you have something to say it plainly. The corner of his mouth curled in mockery. Director Yun, why pretend to be clueless? All the early research and client communication for this project were done by our team. Now that results are in sight, you suddenly switch people. He paused, his eyes sharp. What, afraid we'll mess it up? Or is someone in a hurry to steal the credit? The leader slammed the table. Ji Lin, watch your words. The air in the conference room froze instantly. But Ji Lin didn't back down. He stood up instead, hands braced on the table, staring straight at the leader. If you're changing people, shouldn't there be a reasonable explanation? Otherwise, I don't accept it. The leader frowned. Ji Lin, this is the company's decision, follow the arrangement. Ji Lin let out a cold laugh. Fine, very well. He pushed back his chair and stormed out without looking back. After the meeting, I went straight to the leader's office. President Zhang, the Langtu project should go to Ji Lin. I handed over my resignation letter. I plan to resign. The leader was stunned. Xiao Yun, Ji Lin is young and hot-tempered, don't take it personally. I shook my head. It's not because of him, this is my own decision. From the moment I decided to divorce Shen Yu, I didn't want any connection with him. Since some people in the company are dissatisfied with me anyway, I might as well leave. President Zhang, please approve my resignation. After much persuasion, President Zhang finally agreed. He even moved the monthly company dinner up to the next evening, so I could say goodbye to everyone over a meal. That night at the dinner, Ji Lin still sat across from me, his face cold, not looking at me once. After a few rounds of drinks, President Zhang tried to ease the mood and raised his glass. Ji Lin, come on, have a drink with Director Yun. Ji Lin stared at the glass in front of him, unmoving. The atmosphere in the private room turned awkward. I picked up my glass and stood, smiling to smooth things over. President Zhang, let me toast everyone instead. I scanned the room, letting my gaze linger briefly on each face. Actually, besides the dinner, there's something else I want to tell you all tonight. I've decided to resign. What? Several colleagues exclaimed. Ji Lin suddenly looked up at me. Thank you all for your support during this time, especially Director Ji. I looked at him, sincere. The company's projects will be in your hands from now on. The room instantly erupted. Some tried to keep me, some offered their blessings. Only Ji Lin remained frozen in place, his face pale. He stared at me, his lips moving, but no words came out. After the dinner, I declined my colleagues' offers to walk me out and called a cab alone. The night breeze was cool, I pulled my coat tighter. Suddenly, I heard hurried footsteps behind me. Director Yun. Ji Lin caught up, breathing slightly hard. Under the streetlight, his eyes were startlingly bright. Why did you resign all of a sudden? I smiled. It wasn't sudden, I thought about it for a long time. Is it because what I said about you at yesterday's meeting? His voice tightened. If that's the case, I can apologize. I shook my head. My resignation is a personal decision, it has nothing to do with you. He clenched his fist, his Adam's apple bobbing. A personal reason? What reason? Sorry, that's not convenient to say. I started to walk forward, and Ji Lin followed alongside me. Director Ji, do you still need something? He hesitated. It's hard to get a cab at this hour. I already called one. Do you want to share? I was about to refuse when I heard someone call my name. Yunsong. I turned around. It was Shen Yu. He walked toward us from a distance, tailored suit crisp and immaculate, his expression indifferent, yet his gaze locked straight onto me. Ji Lin frowned slightly. He knew Shen Yu. Shen Yu came closer. His eyes swept once between Ji Lin and me. His voice was cool. I drove here. Come back with me. No, I can get back on my own. I turned and walked away. Shen Yu strode after me and grabbed my wrist. Yunsong, you've made a scene for long enough. That's enough now. Come home with me. A fire surged up in my chest. What do you mean? You've made enough of a scene. In your eyes, me asking for a divorce is just throwing a tantrum. Shen Yu frowned deeply. Then what is it? Just because I didn't deal with your car accident in time, you want a divorce? Yunsong, aren't you just trying to get my attention? Well, now you have it. I admit it. I can't live without you anymore. Are you satisfied now? I stood frozen, unable to believe what I was hearing. The night wind suddenly turned cutting cold. My clenched fingers dug almost into my palm. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Shen Yu, what did you just say? I thought I wanted to sneer, but when the words left my mouth, they came out choked and trembling. He took a step closer. Something I had never seen before surged in his eyes. He said I give up. Yunsong, I admit it. I give up. Is that not enough? All these years, I've long since been unable to live without you. I laughed until tears spilled out. Ji Lin stood to the side, watching me with a complicated expression. I never wanted to lose control like this, in front of a colleague, but I couldn't stop myself. Just like I couldn't stop myself from slapping Shen Yu across the face. Smack. The sharp sound echoed through the night. His face snapped to the side from the blow. He stood there stunned, as if he couldn't believe I had actually hit him. Those arrogant eyes, now filled with disbelief. You hit me. His voice dropped dangerously low. Yes, I've wanted to hit you for a long time. I trembled as I pulled back my numb hand. Shen Yu, what makes you think that just because you say you can't live without me, I should gratefully go back to you? That slap was for your self-importance. You thought I was just sulking, that I was using divorce to threaten you. Shen Yu, you think far too highly of yourself. I truly want a divorce, and I will never turn back. Shen Yu's face went deathly pale. Yunsong, say that again. He stepped toward me, one step at a time. Ji Lin suddenly stepped in front of me. Mr. Shen, please behave yourself. Shen Yu's gaze turned icy in an instant. Move. This is our family matter. I stepped in front of Ji Lin. Shen Yu, don't lose your mind. You and I. Let's end this cleanly. End this cleanly. Shen Yu stared at me, then suddenly laughed. He pulled out the divorce acceptance receipt, the one the Civil Bureau had given us, and tore it to shreds right in front of me. The scraps of paper fluttered in the night wind, just like our marriage, broken beyond repair. I was shaking with anger. Shen Yu, you're completely unreasonable. Say whatever you want. He stepped closer, eyes red-rimmed. Divorce. Don't even think about it. Then we'll see each other in court. I didn't want to say another word to Shen Yu. The car Ji Lin had called arrived. He took hold of my arm. Director Yun, get in the car. Shen Yu stared at me, eyes bloodshot. In that gaze, there was obsession, unwillingness, and a frightening sense of possession. I ignored him, and got into the car Ji Lin had called. The moment the door closed, I heard him running toward me. He shouted after me, Yunsong, I know I was wrong. Come back. I closed my eyes. After a long while, when I opened them again, my gaze met Ji Lin's in the rearview mirror. He was frowning, as if he had been watching me the whole time. It suddenly felt awkward. I turned my head away. Where to? Ji Lin asked. Huacheng Royal Gardens. I gave him my address. Driver. Huacheng Royal Gardens. Ji Lin repeated it for him. Maybe I drank too much. I felt dizzy, so I closed my eyes again. The car rocked gently. My consciousness slowly blurred. Under the influence of alcohol, I drifted off to sleep without realizing it. Yunsong, we're here. I don't know how long passed before a gentle male voice woke me. I opened my eyes groggily, and found Ji Lin's face close at hand. He was leaning over me, brows knit, worry in his eyes. I tried to sit up, but the world spun violently, and I nearly toppled over. Ji Lin caught me quickly. Careful. I instinctively grabbed his arm to steady myself. My fingertips brushed against the firm muscle of his forearm, and my face grew warm for no reason. Can you walk? he asked softly. I nodded, but stumbled as I got out of the car. Jilin immediately wrapped an arm around my waist, holding me half against his chest. The closeness made me uncomfortable, but my spinning head left me too weak to break free. Which floor? Which unit? 8th floor. 802. Leaning against his shoulder, I caught a faint scent of cedar on him, mixed with a subtle hint of tobacco. Unexpectedly pleasant. In the elevator, the mirrored walls reflected us leaning together. Jilin was more than half a head taller than me, the top of my head resting right under his chin. He seemed to notice my gaze, the tips of his ears flushing red, but he pulled me a little closer. The key. At the door. He held out his hand. I fumbled in my bag for a long time, my fingers weak, unable to find it. Jilin sighed, took my bag, and found the key in moments. His fingers brushed the back of my hand, sending a subtle shiver through me. The moment the door opened, my legs gave out, and I nearly collapsed. Jilin scooped me up bridal style. I yelped, instinctively looping my arms around his neck. Sorry. His voice was hoarse, as he moved quickly toward the sofa, but stumbled over the coffee table. We both fell into the soft cushions. His solid chest pressed against me, our breaths tangled, alcohol and cedar intertwining. Time seemed to freeze for a second. Jilin quickly pushed himself up, ears burning red. Sorry. It's fine. I turned my face away, my heart pounding wildly. He went to the kitchen, poured me a cup of warm water, then brought a towel, dampened it, and gently wiped my face. The cool towel brushed my cheek, his movements so careful, as if handling something fragile. Suddenly my stomach churned violently. I shoved Jilin away, and staggered toward the bathroom. My knees slammed into the tile, but I couldn't feel the pain, as I hugged the toilet, vomiting until everything went dark. Urgent footsteps sounded behind me. The person behind me crouched down, one hand gently patting my back, the other sweeping my hair behind my ear, but I couldn't see his face clearly. It's okay. You'll feel better once it's out. I vomited until tears streamed down my face, liquor mixed with bits of dinner splashing onto my collar. My cleanliness obsession flared instantly, and I began tugging at the buttons of my shirt. Dirty. So dirty. Yunsong, what are you doing? He grabbed my wrist, his voice tight. Wait here. I'll get you a change of clothes. I grabbed him instead, drunk and unfocused. The person in front of me turned into Shen Yu. Tears burst free. Shen Yu, you bastard. His body stiffened noticeably. Do you know how long I waited for you? Alcohol completely shattered the last of my restraint. Years of grievance pouring out. Every time I got sick, I went to the hospital alone. On my birthday, you said you had to work overtime. You never spent a single holiday properly with me. I murmured. Shen Yu, I loved you so much. How could you treat me like that? A hand gently rested on the top of my head, and a voice said, I'm sorry. I don't want sorry. I screamed hysterically. I want you to love me. Shen Yu. My wrist was suddenly gripped tightly, the voice carrying restrained anger. Yunsong, look carefully. It's me, Jilin. I stared blankly at his reddened eyes, and suddenly felt all my strength drain away, collapsing limply into his arms. What followed came only in fragments. Someone wiped my face and hands with a warm towel. Someone turned off the light and changed me into clean pajamas. Someone fed me spoonful by spoonful of hangover soup. It was hot, so I frowned and dodged. Be good. Just one more sip. That person coaxed patiently, voice low and gentle. You'll feel better after this. Half asleep, I seemed to hear a sigh. If only I had met you earlier. When I woke again, it was already bright outside. I was lying in my own bed, wearing clean pajamas, a thermos and hangover medicine placed by the bedside. Soft sounds came from the living room. I dragged my heavy body over, and pushed the door open. Then I saw Jilin, curled up asleep on the sofa. His shirt was wrinkled, dark circles obvious beneath his eyes. Hearing the noise, Jilin sat up immediately. He rubbed his messy hair, and asked, You're awake. Does your head still hurt? Much better. I twisted my fingers, feeling awkward. I didn't do anything crazy last night, did I? He paused, and looked at me with a complicated expression. You really don't remember anything from last night? I shook my head. Feels like I blacked out. Something flickered in his eyes. Then he stood up. Since you're awake, I'll head out. I walked him to the door. He suddenly turned back. Yunsong, if. He hesitated, then just smiled. Never mind. Remember to eat breakfast. The moment the door closed, my phone lit up again. It was a WeChat message from Shen Yu. He said, Yunsong, let's talk properly. My head started to ache, but some things needed to be settled sooner rather than later. So I replied, 5 this afternoon, the Sirloin Steakhouse on South Street, he replied instantly. Okay. At 4:50 in the afternoon, I pushed open the glass door of the Sirloin Steakhouse. This was the first restaurant we went to after getting married, but that meal had been far from pleasant. It was the first weekend after we got our marriage license. I was overjoyed, and had carefully arranged to celebrate at my favorite steakhouse. That day, I wore a newly bought dress, and arrived half an hour early. I waited nearly an hour before he finally showed up. Sorry, a video conference came up last minute. His explanation was perfunctory, and he started checking his phone as soon as he sat down. I forced a smile. It's okay. Work comes first. When the server came to take our order, I handed him the menu. What arrived were all dishes I disliked. A rare steak with blood still showing. Asparagus I never ate. Even the sauce. My most hated mushroom sauce. Later, he took a phone call and left, saying there was an emergency at the company. Only afterward did I learn that his first love, Suu Chi, was leaving the country, and he had rushed off to see her. That was the first time I thought steak tasted unbearably bitter. And now, the reason I chose this place again was because I wanted to draw a line under the version of myself who once loved him so humbly. When I arrived, Shen Waiyu was already seated by the window. He wore a dark gray suit, but it was wrinkled. He looked unwell overall. When he saw me, he stood up at once, a glimmer of light flashing in his eyes. You're here. He pulled out a chair for me. I ordered your favorite filet, medium, with mushroom sauce. He spoke ingratiatingly. I remember you don't like black pepper sauce. No, I like black pepper. I cut him off. Suu Chi doesn't. Right. Shen Waiyu's expression froze instantly. Then I'll ask the server to change it. No need. I interrupted again, and sat down across from him. Just an Americano for me. His smile stiffened, his fingers unconsciously rubbing the edge of the menu. Okay. After the server brought the coffee, Shen Waiyu finally spoke. Song. I've thought a lot these past few days. Shen Waiyu. I cut him off. I didn't come today to reminisce with you. I'll only ask you one thing. The divorce agreement was properly signed. Why did you go back on it? Shen Waiyu gave a bitter smile. Can't you tell? Because I regret it. He looked up at me, his eyes filled with sorrow and pleading. Yunsong, it was only after you left that I realized. I love you. I've long since been unable to live without you. We won't divorce. Let's live properly together again. Okay. I let out a cold laugh. Now you know you love me. Then do you know how scared I was the day I got into that car accident? Do you know how much it hurt after I answered your icy phone call? Shen Waiyu's face turned pale in an instant. You don't know. I interrupted him. Because that day you were busy arguing with the board, thinking I was annoying. Shen Waiyu, all these years, you've always thought I was annoying, haven't you? The moment the words left my mouth, that familiar ache spread from my chest through my entire body. No, it's not like that. He urgently reached for my hand. I never thought you were annoying. That day I was a complete bastard. But now I know I was wrong. You know you were wrong. I pulled my hand back. Shen Waiyu, we grew up together for 16 years. We've been married for almost 4. From high school until now. I've loved you for 10 whole years. I took a deep breath, my fingers tightening around the coffee cup. Shen Waiyu, do you remember the first year we were married? Your birthday. I started preparing a full month in advance. My voice began to tremble. I tried over and over, baked the cake myself, waited for you to come home and eat with me. But that day you said you had to work late, and asked me to bring the cake to your office. When I got there, I saw you laughing and chatting with a female client in the conference room. You took the cake, set it aside casually, didn't even look at it. Shen Waiyu's lips moved, but he couldn't say a word. I told myself you were busy, so I waited for you downstairs at your office. But I waited almost until midnight. In the end the security guard told me you'd already left through the underground garage long ago. His face grew paler and paler. I didn't know you were waiting. Then what about our anniversary? I pressed on. I took the day off, bought matching outfits, booked a hot spring hotel. But you flew to Hong Kong at the last minute to see a client. Not even a phone call. That was an emergency, he explained with difficulty. Then what about last Valentine's Day? My tears finally fell. I had a fever of 39 degrees. I called you more than 20 times. You didn't answer once. In the end it was a neighbor who took me to the hospital. And on Suu Chi's social media, there you were, all of you drinking together. At that point my voice caught. Shen Waiyu looked at me, struggling to explain. Yunsong, Suu Chi and I ended things a long time ago. There's nothing between us. I wiped my tears. I know there's nothing between you two. Otherwise I wouldn't have waited until now to ask for a divorce. What I can't get over is that every time I needed you, you were never there. I never used to mind that you once loved someone deeply, that you had a passionate past. But from that day on, I minded, and I grew jealous. You don't know, Shen Yu. You'll never know. Every time I think about you and Zhu Qi, all I see are images of you kissing her. From that moment on, my heart changed. Shen Yu lifted his head to look at me, his eyes red. I looked back at him. Shen Yu, we've been married for 4 years. You should have realized long ago. My so-called tantrums were nothing more than hoping you'd look at me a little more, stay with me a little longer. But again and again, you used your actions to tell me I was annoying. I didn't matter. Yet you were never like this with Zhu Qi. I've seen how you love someone, so I know very well how you treated me. Outside the window, a light rain began to fall, tapping softly against the glass. Shen Yu's Adam's apple bobbed violently. After a long while he said, Yunsong, let's start over. This time, I promise, I'll treat you well. I looked at him and smiled. There's no need. Shen Yu, I don't need it anymore. Shen Yu suddenly covered his face with his hand, turning his head toward the window. I picked up my bag and stood. There are 6 days left before the registration. 6 days from now. I hope you'll go through with it smoothly. Shen Yu turned back, grabbed my hand, his voice hoarse. Yunsong, give me one last chance. I shook his hand off cleanly. No. The moment I said it, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. All the grievances I'd carried for years finally found a way out. Shen Yu looked as if all his strength had been drained. His shoulders slumped. His trembling hand reached for the wine glass, but knocked over the water beside it. The sound of shattering glass startled the entire restaurant. Just like our broken marriage, beyond repair. I thought I had made myself clear enough that day. I never expected Shen Yu to spiral this far. After that, he seemed like a different person, inserting himself into every corner of my life. Showing up early in the morning with my favorite breakfast, buying the flowers I liked, the food I liked, and piles of luxury items. The most unhinged part was him posting photos online. Our mutual friends all messaged me, asking what was going on with Shen Yu, what kind of shock he'd gotten to suddenly become this loving. Look, even our friends could tell that he hadn't loved me before. All I could do was smile helplessly, explaining to them one by one, whatever Shen Yu was doing had nothing to do with me. We were getting divorced. He was simply losing his mind. Everyone joked about it, but strangely, no one really tried to persuade me. Things reached a breaking point the night before the cooling-off period ended. That evening, Ji Lin called me to ask about work. The doorbell rang. I don't have a habit of checking the peephole. I opened the door. Shen Yu was standing outside. He reeked of alcohol, clutching a stack of crumpled papers. The moment he saw me, his voice was hoarse beyond recognition. Song, look, I found our marriage certificate, our honeymoon photos, and all the notes you wrote for me. I went to close the door coldly, but he blocked it with his body. Song, I know I was wrong. Look, I remember everything. The first lunchbox you made me, tomato and scrambled eggs, too salty, but I ate it all. The first tie you gave me, dark blue, I found it too. I don't know what it got pressed under. It's all wrinkled now. Shen Yu tried to step closer. I shoved him back. Shen Yu, you're drunk. I'm not drunk. He suddenly raised his voice, his bloodshot eyes gleaming with obsession. I've never been more clear-headed. Song, look at these. His trembling hands pulled out a photo album. Inside were nothing but photos of us, but in most of them, I was smiling at the camera, while he was distracted, looking somewhere else. Look, we have so many memories. His voice cracked. You can't just abandon me like this. Enough. I took a deep breath. Tomorrow is the last day to register. Leave yourself some dignity. Those words were like a bucket of ice water. Shen Yu staggered back. The album slipped from his hands. Photos scattered across the floor. One drifted to my feet. It was a photo from our honeymoon, by High Lake. I was in a white dress, smiling brightly, and he was on the phone, frowning deeply, looking at him like this. I couldn't tell what I was feeling, like knocking over a spice rack. Sour, sweet, bitter, spicy, all mixed together. I took a deep breath, forced my tears back, then took out my phone, and called my parents, and his. Shen Yu's parents arrived before mine. The moment they came, they grabbed him and started scolding. His father slapped him hard. You useless bastard. You lost such a good wife. What are you doing here now? His mother shielded him, then held my hand. Song, you see, Yu still has feelings for you. Could you give him another chance? Shen Yu looked at me with red eyes. waiting for my answer, but I still shook my head firmly. Shen Yu and I are finished. A broken mirror doesn't mend. Shen Yu deflated, and dropped to his knees with a thud. Yunsong, how can you be so heartless? After all these years, how can you just let go? I looked at him, no warmth in my eyes at all. Shen Yu, you've had too much to drink. You should go home early. Uncle, aunt, please take him away soon. His father nodded. Understood. I'll take him away now. They dragged Shen Yu off. Before my parents arrived. Before leaving, he kept staring at me stubbornly, eyes red. The next day at the civil affairs office, Shen Yu arrived on time, unexpectedly calm. He wore a suit, hair neatly styled. He even managed to smile when the staff spoke to him. Only when it was time to sign did I see his hand shaking, almost unable to hold the pen. Here are your documents. Please keep them safe. The staff handed over the divorce certificates. I took mine and turned to leave. Shen Yu suddenly spoke. Could you give me one more minute? After getting permission, he took out a small box. Inside was a bracelet, one I'd once told him I wanted, on my birthday. Back then, he'd brushed it off, said he'd buy it, then promptly forgot. One last time, he said softly, let me put it on you. Okay, just treat it as a farewell. No need. I bought this bracelet myself a while ago. I shook my head and walked toward the exit. Sunlight streamed through the glass doors, casting a bright dividing line on the floor. Just like between Shen Yu and me, we had finally reached the end. I never regretted loving Shen Yu. What I regret is wasting myself because of self-righteous love. Luckily, I was still able to break free and move forward. After getting the divorce certificate, I also completed my resignation. I told my parents I planned to go abroad for a while, and contacted a design firm to study there. Who would have thought? Just as I arrived at the airport, Ji Lin showed up. He was drenched in sweat, panting heavily. I was surprised. Why are you here? Are you going abroad? I nodded. Yeah, why? Ji Lin pressed his lips together, silent for a long time. I tried to break the awkwardness. You're here to see me off. He didn't answer, only asked, will you come back? I was puzzled. Why are you asking that so suddenly? Ji Lin blushed.